Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And today, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the first episode of Girl Gun Lady. That is a weird title, and it's an odd show, in a good way. I'm probably not going to ramble on about this show too much because I tend to do that on these, and the videos tend to become longer than I hope that they wind up being, so I'll try to hold back. But we got a show that mixes some light tokusatsu action with trying to sell you model kits. And going into it, I was kind of expecting the show to be like a bit of a dark look at how when it comes to tokusatsu shows, a lot of the marketing is on like what are basically weapons for the most part. And I was expecting the show to be kind of a dark take on that, and it really isn't, but in like a good way, I guess. I don't really have that much of a feel on how the characters in this series are. We really only get introduced to Koharu, a high school girl, and even then, we're not given her full backstory or anything. All we're really given is that she's maybe not popular at school, but I don't know if she's necessarily disliked, because it's not like people bully her or anything, so I guess she just kind of generally goes unnoticed or something, but whatever. But after accidentally injuring her knee when a fellow school person accidentally runs into her while she's carrying a desk, she ends up going to the infirmary and finds out that the oh god, would he count as a nurse? Would he count as a doctor? I don't know. The guy in the infirmary who runs the infirmary, she ends up learning that he likes to build model kits, and she reveals that she too likes model kits, and I can relate to that, as I have been building quite a few model kits over the past year plus at this point. So, like that. But apparently a representative of the student council shows up and basically tells the nurse off. I don't know if he's a nurse or a doctor, or if he's just... I don't know the proper term for it, but person from the student council comes in and tells him off for putting together models at work, and tells him not to do it again, clearly setting her up as being kind of a jerk. But let's see. So then on the way home, Koharu stops by some random shop called FFF, and she spots these like model kits of these like 4 girl figures, and she's quite interested in them, and the shop owner lets her in and basically gives her these model kits to put together, claiming that they have the potential to change her life, and claims that he himself had a life-changing experience thanks to them. It's never really explained what that is. Maybe at some future point, but I could kind of guess how it was going to. Now, then we get a scene of Koharu putting together the 2 model kits. One is of this like gun called I think the Attack Girl gun it's called, and then the other is of one of the female models that she saw in the window, known as a Girl Gun Lady, which is where the show's title comes from. It comes from one of these particular types of models. They look nice. I'm legitimately considering picking up some of those models and working on them. But maybe I'll wait until I'm further into the series to see how that goes. But we get the scene of her putting together these models, and it's mixed with what is almost a music video of like a cutesy song. And then after she gets done with the model kit, she falls asleep because it's after school. It's night. She just spent quite a bit of time working on these model kits. She's tired. You get it? She then wakes up in a world that is significantly more muted in terms of its color tone. The kind of muted that you might see in, like, say, Kamen Rider Amazons or any of the more recent Garo series, where... And it's clear that this is not quite the real world, but it's unclear if it's a dream world or some other world, but it's definitely different because in the awake world, the color tones are fairly vibrant. No muted tones, are fairly true colors, and in this world they're muted, despite all of the characters wearing what should be rather bright clothing. It gives it a nice a nice contrast to seeing colors that should be vibrant definitely not being vibrant. And I feel I should mention that at this point, at the very beginning of the episode, we get what is basically a flash forward to something that happens a little later in the episode, but it's at this early episode portion where we first see how muted the colors are, and how rather bloody this series actually is. It's I can't say that I was surprised that characters bleed in this series. I was kind of expecting it, despite having seen nothing about this show other than, like, people mentioning it. So I went into this fairly blind. I knew that it was like model kit, toy, guns, and something related to that, but I didn't know a whole lot about it. Also it was going to be like almost exclusively female cast. So I was kind of expecting it to be a bit of a deconstruction in the same way as like Madoka Magica. And it kind of is, but it's also a bit lighthearted at times. So, but when we're in this muted tone dream world, Koharu is woken up by basically an actress dressed up as the girl that she just built a model of. Basically an anime girl. And it turns out that she is now on the same team as two of her schoolmates, whom she had encountered when she injured her knee, which resulted in her having to go to the infirmary. One of the girls being the one that accidentally bumped into her while she was carrying the desk, and the other girl being a girl who just so happened to be nearby. And, Koharu and the audience are basically thrust into this mystery in which girls are shooting at each other with toy guns and causing actual damage. Like, it as a whole, this whole portion of the series definitely reminds me quite a bit of Garo versus Road, in that it is basically a person versus person competition that's set in not the real world. And things go by pretty fast, and Koharu is completely out of her depth. She has no idea what's going on other than that people are shooting at each other. and that she can be injured because she gets a bullet grazes her cheek, and it remains like that for the rest of the episode. So, no magic healing here. We also we also get a basic understanding that the model kit girls are basically like the captains or commanders of each of the 4 teams in this show. Alpha Team, Bravo Team, Charlie Team, and Delta Team. I think those are all their names. I know that it's definitely those, the A, B, C, D. Those ones are right. I don't remember if it's Alpha Team or Team Alpha or whatever. I think, I'm trying to remember. I think Koharu was on the Beta team or whatever. But each of the 4 teams is represented by a different color. So we got red, blue, yellow, pink, or purple. I think it was pink, blue, yellow, and purple. I think. I can't remember. We don't really get to see much of 2 of the teams outside of a quick establishing shot showing that, helping us, the audience, to know that there are 4 teams in total. But yeah, it goes by pretty quick. Koharu does not only recognizes her 2 teammates as being the ones she encountered at school before, but she also recognizes one of the members of the opposing team as being somebody that I mistook as being somebody else. I'm sure once I get used to this, I'll become more familiar with the characters. But, so yeah, everybody's shooting at each other in, like, war games and stuff. Koharu is completely out of her depth, and at no point does she actually shoot at anybody. But, she does, after running away in terror, because, I mean, why wouldn't she? People are shooting at her, and everybody around her seems to just take that in stride while she has no idea what's going on. She discovers that the area they're in has like a barricade that keeps all the players of this game in the respective areas. So it's like the boundaries of a video game map, basically. But a lot of stuff happens. Ultimately, Koharu does manage to trick one of the other members of the other team into chasing her and winding up in an ambush that gets her shot, despite Koharu's attempts to de-escalate the whole situation and that not going nearly as well as she had hoped. So the game is over. Koharu wakes up. That damage she took, that's gone. She's completely fine, and she's willing to completely write the whole thing off as being a dream, especially once she gets back to school the next day and discovers that the girl from the opposing team that got shot up by her teammates is alive and well, but her 2 teammates in the dream world show up and reveal that it's not a dream. So I'm definitely curious to see what's going on with this other world, this game world, I guess, this dream world, whatever it's going to be called. I like that. So I like the kind of contrast between bright and peppy, but also grimdark. Almost. Like, it definitely feels like, the Dream World elements definitely feel like the Versus Road version of Garl, which I mentioned earlier, and yeah, it's a bit of a weird juxtaposition, but it's one that I like. I also like that at, like, the very end of the episode, as, like, an extra, we get the actress who playing Koharu, basically pulling out the different sprues for the gun model kit. That's a nice touch. Like, it's the actress really having a bit of fun there. She doesn't actually assemble it. She just takes it out and shows the sprues to the audience to show, yeah, you can totally make these. So, yeah, I am certainly interested in checking out more of this show, seeing how dark this series is planning to get, because it's definitely not a lighthearted tokusatsu show. It's definitely in some area between Garo and Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider being the more serious but still kid appropriate show, whereas Garo is just full on for adults. It's like somewhere in between there. I'm not entirely. It's definitely for like a more mature audience, but I wouldn't say that it's so dark that it's in Garo territory. It's kind of halfway between the two. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in checking that out. I do like the fact that they're model kits, so that's definitely appealing to my personal interests. And yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how this series progresses. So, until next time, this has been me, ProtoMet. See ya.